Money Series 5. Today we're going to be talking about understanding savings. When you first get savings, um, it's going to feel like all you do with them is end up having to use them back. But the beauty of that is you're going to practice using them back, but not going back to zero, which is you being in debt. The purpose of this is understanding that even in your savings, you have to subdivide your savings. Remember, we talked about the 10%? So you're going to get that 10%, and then you're going to subdivide that 10% into when you've cleared debt, it'll be actually 30%. But for right now, you're taking that 10% and dividing it into 3 parts. Now, people are saying, like, well, when it's only $10, where is it cutting up? You're still cutting it up. You still only got one bus fare out of it. That point we're making. So you then subdivide. The subdivision is for the purpose that you always still have some left back. You're never fully broke. So that, let's say an emergency comes up, you will try to use only 2/3 of the money for the emergency, even if it means you still have a debt or a credit or whatever, you're still in trouble. Now, some of us have come along at this point. We're now trying to handle finances that are really bad, and we coming back from a real hole. Doesn't change your savings. It means you need a proper plan for dealing with it. And first thing you need to do is to put your debtors at ease. So lots of people think, oh, they will go wait. No, you got to run in there and you got to go and tell them. You got to write them. Sorry. You got to write them and tell them you plan to honor the debt that you're in. You just, you're going to need some time so that they know you're honorable. One. Then you got to start approaching that debt from how can I start to clear it, and with a real plan. Now, in a real plan might mean I can't get to you right away. Part of my real plan might be first, I got to increase how much I got in savings. I got to increase my overall income, but I also have to increase how much I have in savings. And that might require a rush job of, let's say, a flea market, a garage sale, a selling of something. I just don't know I want y'all until I start these videos. Anyway, got to go and sell something or take on some extra work specifically for a period of time. So a second job doesn't actually help. A second job starts to deplete as fast as it brings in. So it brings in extra cash, but it costs you extra cash. But a second job for a very short period of time where like, I can do this for 3 months, I can do this for 6 months, and literally I can dedicate all money to this towards this particular problem, is fine. But a constant second job where you are working 4 hours here and still a full 8 hours, which means you're working 12 hours in any given day, you starting to deplete yourself. So you ain't gonna got nothing left, and you ain't gonna actually be progressing on the way you're hoping to progress. That is something you need to be very wary of. So what many people don't understand is anytime you're in struggle, you're not moving forward. Struggle is not just the wrong mindset, it is also the wrong energy. So as long as you think of yourself as poor, you think of yourself as needy, you think of yourself as disadvantaged in any way, and you can never get out of this rut, you're struggling. And struggling does not allow you to grow the way you want to. So overpaying bills, for example, is a major way to get yourself in trouble. So lots of people figure, I borrowed 120 from you last week. I get paid this week. I pay you back the 120. No, you clearly can't pay me that back because that is the whole reason you went into debt. So if I borrow 120 from you last week, I pay you 60 next week and 60 the week after. One, because that extra 60 is going to ease me in some way. Ease the intense pressure I feel like I under. Ease my bills. Ease me being able to buy something that I need without the constant tightness that I feel. And that, believe it or not, makes all the difference. So sometimes our whole issue is we are overpaying debt too quickly. Let's say your rent gets away from you, which rent seems to always get away from people. Your job is to, once you realize rent has gotten away from you, you have to start paying. You have to pay your landlord and pay the landlord in pieces. So you have to pay, like, if your rent is $800, which nobody's rent is nowadays. That's dreamy. Anyway, if your rent is $800, you have to pay $1,000 in the next month, and then pay $1,000 for 4 months to get back the 800. But believing that you can pay 16, you're gonna put yourself in trouble, and that gonna frustrate the landlord because you ain't gonna get due, and then it gonna go into 3 months, then it gonna go into 4 months, because each time you keep trying. Another thing that people do that I never understand: whatever you have accumulated of the rent, even although it ain't full, pay that. A portion off is better than none at all. I want you to know that your landlord, more than likely, is a crumb above you. So when you don't pay him, it automatically offsets his bank account as well. It offsets his finances as well. So not paying him anything at all is a huge loss for him. Hence why you get the attitude. Hence why you get them irritated, right? So don't irritate them. Be fair. We was talking about savings. We started off, I promise we didn't talk about savings, because this is what I want you to know. If you start saving and you have been consistent with your saving, you can take a fraction of that saving, also put it to the debt, and move the debt further along faster. What you want to be is debt free. There is healthy debt, like mortgages. There is a healthy debt. That's a fine debt to be in. But there's some debts you don't want to be in at all. A lot of foolish minor debts for stuff that diminishes. Don't do it. So as not to just, and you have to learn how to put off. Savings also is also about understanding your discipline. Like, you gotta put away, you because you know you have to save. There's some things you're not getting this month, but over time you'll put all together and you'll get them. Do you understand this? This is where you would like to get to. This is where you need to get to. You need to understand money. You need to understand how to approach your savings and your debt. You need to understand what savings is for the first part. The first part, all it will ever feel it used to do is clear bills with it. But the point is if you can go back to zero and you don't go minus, you're doing good. You are doing better than you were before. Give yourself points for that. And then eventually you're going to accumulate enough, because there's that 1/3 of your savings that you were not touching. That will accumulate, and it will be slow, and it will be thunder. And then sometimes it will have this huge windfall. But it comes from mindset. And to start changing that mindset, it's going to require a ton of small steps. A ton of them. And it is your job, because it is for your benefit, to take those small steps for yourself and get you out of debt. This is what you want. This is what you're going to need. You got to do it for you. Do it for you. Do it for your family. Do it to ensure the next generation does not suffer the way you do or are. All right. Now, I know this video is helpful. I know this video is also useful. So if you have not shared this to 5 friends, you are not being a good friend. There are 5 friends that are struggling with money, that are making small errors in judgment. You should get them to watch the whole series. But if you at least send them this video, you're doing them you're being kind to them. So I'm going to ask you. Yes, we have to ask, because funny enough, people don't share good things like they should. So I'm going to ask you, pass this to 5 friends. Tell them to watch it, because they need it. So that we can all get out of this debt rut that we're in. Get out of this financial strain that we are under. All right. Have an absolutely fantastic day. I'm Maria Cullimore. Don't forget, share and like.